Nested loops are a loop within another loop. Say for example, you have a for loop. Inside a for loop, instead of a normal statement, we give another loop inside. That kind of a loop is called as a nested loop. So for every iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop will be executed completely. For example, you have given the outer loop 5 times and the inner loop 4 times. For every outer loop, the inner loop will be done 4 times. Right? I'll show you an example. Look at a simple normal for loop. For I in range of 3, print hello. What will this do? For I in range of 3 will generate numbers 0, 1, 2, which means hello will be printed 3 times. Now I'll show you an example of a nested loop. The same loop for I in range of 3, print A. What will this print? A will be printed 3 times. Now after printing this, after this statement, I am adding another loop. So this becomes a nested loop. What happens here for J in, because to keep track of the inner loop, there should be another variable used. For the outer loop, I is used. For the inner loop, J is used. This variable is called as the control variable. In a loop, the variable which is used to keep track of the count is called as the control variable. So for J in range of 4, print hello. So the inner loop will be executed 4 times, right? Outer loop will be executed 3 times. Now how is this done? When I becomes 0, A will be printed once and this loop will be executed 4 times, that is fully. 0, 1, 2, 3. Then again the outer loop will go to the next iteration, second iteration. A will get printed, then hello, hello, hello 4 times. Then I will enter into the third iteration, that is I will become 2. Then again A gets printed, then 4 times hello gets printed. So this is the concept of a nested loop. I'll show you how this works. For I in range of 4, print outer loop. I will show you outer. So actually what is the concept? The word outer should be printed 4 times. Now instead of another normal statement, I am giving for I in range of 3 and print inner. Right? So for every outer, when one time outer loop is executed, 3 times inner loop will get executed. Then for outer, second time outer loop, 3 times inner loop. Third time outer loop, 3 times inner loop. Fourth time outer loop, 3 times inner loop. So altogether, the number of times of outer loop is 4, number of times of inner loop is 3. So 4 into 3, 12 times the inner loop will get executed. Let us check what the output is. See, for one outer, 3 times the inner loop gets executed. For one outer, 3 times inner. So this is how it repeats itself. Okay, this is the concept of nested loop. But actually, what is the purpose of a nested loop? One important purpose of a nested loop is printing patterns. I will show you 2 simple patterns. One is printing some common symbol for a particular number of rows and columns. So check this, how many number of rows are there? 1, 2, 3. How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 rows and 5 columns. Whenever you want to print a nested loop like this, count the number of rows that has to be given in the outer loop. The count of the columns should be given in the inner loop. Okay. So 3 times into 5 times, right? So let us see how to do that. For I in range of 3, because the number of rows is 3. And what about the inner loop? For J in range of 5, because I want to print I 5 times. Now I'll print A. What will happen now? Every time A gets printed, the cursor will move on to the next line. So A will be printed 15 times, but it will be printed vertically like this. But I want that in a particular pattern, that is after 5 times it should get printed side by side, and after 5 times it should move on to the next line, right? So after 5 times, what gets executed 5 times? J loop. So after this inner loop, I should give an empty print so that it will move on to the next line. I'll show you how to do that. So here, first, to print the next A beside, I will give end equal to space. But now what will happen? All the 15 A's will be printed in the same line. To avoid that, after every for loop, that is after every 5 times, I will give one empty print so that after 5 A's, one next line will come, right? So this is how you will print a pattern. So again I repeat, check a pattern. If there is a pattern for 3 rows and 5 columns, the number of rows should be the number of the outer loop and number of columns should be the range of the inner loop. Okay. Now let us check the next kind of pattern, which is a growing pattern. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. Now in order to increase the number from 1 to 5, we can use this counter variable itself. But the problem is the range function always generates numbers with starting with 0. So let us do this. For I in range of 1, 6, because I need it 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what I want. For j in range of, when I just give 1, 6, the problem is I will be 5 times and j will be 5 times, but the problem is it will be a 5 into 5 square. I don't want that to happen, right? So this will print a 5 into 5 column 5 row format. I don't want that. I want the number of rows to increase correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas the number of columns should be increasing. So instead of giving it as a standard 6, I will give I plus 1. So first time when I becomes 1, I should stop. First time I should be 1, next time it should be 2, then 3, then 4 columns, then 5 columns and so on. So this will actually print the A, we are going to print J. As usual, we need to give this end equal to colon so that it will be printed beside and one empty print. Okay. So this is how you have to print growing patterns. Whenever you print growing patterns, count the number of rows. That should be the outer range starting from 1. And the inner range should have the outer range as the limit. Only then you will get a growing pattern. Okay. Hope you understood the concept of nested loops. All the best.